The reason I'm here, first I'm going to give you a history lesson. I had a one-on-one meeting with David Miscavige over a decade ago. And he had in the room with him a nationally recognized retail developer. And he had beautiful pictures of what he was going to create on Cleveland Street because he was tired of having to bus his people, his visitors, over to Hyde Park in Tampa. But part of that meeting was we were negotiating the purchase of the CMA property next to the old City Hall so that the city ultimately can develop the bluff as you guys are moving forward with. And in that meeting, David pounded on the table and he says, "Damn it, Hoyt, I want that property." And I said, if I were in your shoes, I'd want that property too, but I pounded the table and I said, "But damn it, David, I want it too, and I'm going to buy it." And we, as a council, bought it for $4-point-something million, if I recall. And what did David do? He took his ball and ran home. He claims, Scientology claims, that they're community partners. Community partners don't only do things that benefit themselves. They do things that benefit the entire community. Owning block after block of property that stays vacant month after month and year after year is not a community partner. So what I'm urging you to do is, I'm not saying don't sell this property to the church ultimately. What I'm saying is don't do it tonight. Don't commit to it tonight. They need to show that they are community partners because they need to do things. Where is that plan that he was going to do? He was going to make Cleveland Street look like Hyde Park in Tampa with quality retail and quality restaurants. We got a couple quality restaurants. We got nothing else. 10 years later, what we have, more vacant buildings that they have purchased. So it's time to hold their feet to the fire for a change and say, show us something. Show us you're going to develop Cleveland Street and put that quality retail in there that all of citizens of Clearwater can benefit from and would probably take advantage of. But until they do that, I would not give them this. They want this because it's on, my understanding, it's on the west side of their building is their entrance into this structure they want to build. And they want to have a more landscaped and pretty entrance into their building. I don't blame them. But they got to show us something. They need to show you something. So if not, let them have a street and some parking spaces in front of their building. Because, like I say, what they do build looks great. But how many people in this room can walk into any of them just for the hell of it? Nobody. Nobody. So it is time for them to step up and be the community partner they claim they are. Because the other part of it is what they're building is an entertainment venue. My question is, when they build it, is it going to be strictly for their use? If it is, no problem. But you need that in writing. Because if they're going to get Live Nation to come in here and book entertainment in there and compete with the 2 entertainment venues the city already has, we're losers on this deal. So I urge at least one of you, but I think all 3 of you changing your vote and presenting a 5-0 vote to Scientology on this issue tonight would send a much stronger message. Because they've claimed for 40 years that they're community partners. I've lived here for 66 years, almost 67. They've not shown very many times other than showing up at some events. But I don't know anybody in here, I know none of you, I know I would never buy a building to let it sit vacant. If I'm going to buy a building, I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to do with it after I buy it. I'm gonna be right down to the city's planning department asking for a permit, and I'm gonna make it into what I want it to be. So don't postpone this vote, vote no, I'd rather you vote no, but make them show a partnership with this city and a commitment to this community before you do this. Because that's what the citizens of Clearwater deserve. Thank you.
Go Hoyt.
Thanks, Peter.
I know we're not supposed to applaud Mark Bunker, by the way.
One
Thank you.
second. Don Temeter? Are you here? Don? Where? Oh, okay, thank you. And Patty? Thank you. So you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. I really have to thank Hoyt for that history lesson because it's extremely important. You know, the council, when they said no in 2017, Ms. Cabbage said, all right, I'll wait for the next council. The next council, he got me. And he said, I'll wait for the next council. Now he has you. That video that you loved, Ryan, that beautiful video that if only the public could see this video, they would love having the L. Ron Hubbard Hall here. There's a reason Ms. Cabbage doesn't show that to the public. Because it says L. Ron Hubbard Hall on it, and he knows the public here don't like Scientology. You know, there's another very, very beautiful video, very similar to that. I'm sure the production value of the LRH Hall is just as great. You can see that one right now. You can go to Cleveland Street Alliance, and there's a video there about how 3 buildings on Cleveland Street are being restored. And it is remarkable. It's such a well-produced video. Nowhere in there does it say Scientology, or L. Ron Hubbard, or David Miscavige. But he's the one who snapped his fingers to make that happen, to try to get something from the city. And that is a front group that he created expressly to hide the fact that Scientology's involvement in those buildings is what is making that happen. I would urge you not to sell the street. Miscavige didn't go halfway with you, it appears. You had things you wanted in the deal, and he said, nah. I would say this to you. Miscavige doesn't need the street. He doesn't. He wants the street. Personally, I think it's so he can stop any protests in front of L. Ron Hubbard Hall. And for him, $1.3 million, that's chump change. He's happy to pay that. And frankly, it's an insult that he's paying market value because you know all those buildings he secretly bought up after 2017 when the city was bold enough to say no to him. He paid 2, 4, or 6 times market value for those buildings he's been leaving empty. No problem there, but with the city, I'll give you market value. In fact, I'm not even going to give it to you now. Down the line, I'll probably give it to you. Can't guarantee it. If he wants to stop protests in front of L. Ron Hubbard Hall, all he has to do is get an event permit. So on those nights, nobody can protest. The rest of the time, Councilmember Teixeira, Mr. Mayor, and all the other citizens who use that street on a regular basis will still be able to use the street. There's nothing really in it for you to give Miscavige what he wants. You know, as I said, I think Miscavige is trying to stop protests. We just saw a protester last week get arrested. Erica was arrested and spent a night in jail. And she's been protesting from the exact same spot for 14 months. And it was not a problem. So I hope this is not any type of crackdown on protests. I don't think it is, but I hope it's not. Let me ask you this, because this is my real concern. Say Miscavige comes through with everything that he promised back in 2017, and he's going to build up all the buildings downtown, make them look gorgeous. He's going to put businesses in them. What happens if a business fails? Does Miscavige have to put another business in and another business? What if all of them fail? And Miscavige looks around and goes, huh, we made a pretty downtown and no one wants to come down here. I wonder why. And decides, let's just tear down all those buildings and let's build expensive condos for wealthy Scientologists. They can live right next to Flag, they can walk over and do their auditing, and then another block away, they can go to the L. Ron Hubbard Hall and listen to Miscavige drone on and on for 3 hours before jumping to their feet and shouting, hip, hip, hooray! That is what I'm worried is going to be the future of downtown Clearwater. The people of Clearwater do not want a downtown Clearwater controlled by Miscavige. That's what the council in 2017 said. It's true today, so I urge you, do not sell this street. It's the city streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I think everyone watching these proceedings is somewhat surprised to watch in real time while the biggest cheerleader of this project in the council, Ryan Cotton, just found out tonight that Scientology is not even paying this $1.3 million for another 6 years. It's unbelievable. I have seen your email responses to some of the citizens that have emailed you their concerns about this, and you are suspiciously in favor of this project, a project that no one in Clearwater wants. Scientologists are less than 2% of the population. There's about 1,500 Sea Org members. There's about 1,000 public Scientologists. In all of Tampa Bay, you couldn't scrape up 4,000 Scientologists, but you're running around like building L. Ron Hubbard Hall is going to save downtown Clearwater. Ryan, it doesn't make any sense what you are out there doing. Mayor Bruce Rector, thank you for voting no on this. Lena? At one of the recent hearings, the mayor of Clearwater said he is still not even clear why Scientology wants this street. How can 3 council members be voting yes when the mayor isn't even clear why Scientology wants this street? And you've both, Lena and Bruce, you have both already made it clear. You already know they don't need the street. Not selling them this street does not prevent them from building LRH Hall. It's got nothing to do with it. So why do they want it? I truly agree with Mark Bunker. They want it so that protesters can't stand on the sidewalks in front of LRH Hall. Ryan, you talk about treating Scientologists like any other member of the community. Is there any other church in this community that has gone to war and tried to sabotage the development of downtown Clearwater? So whereas Scientologists should be treated with the same respect and the same rights as all other members of this community, the Church of Scientology is not just another member of this community. It is a toxic, dangerous, and destructive force, and everyone who spent any amount of time downtown understands this. But for some reason, you like their shiny video. It's truly incredible. You talk about the construction benefits of LRH Hall. That's a one-time benefit. Whatever economic trickle-down effect there is, that's a one-time benefit. You seem to be under the impression that building LRH Hall brings more Scientologists to Clearwater. Do you not understand the role of the Flag Land Base in the greater world of Scientology? Every Scientologist who's going to come to Clearwater already comes to Clearwater. Believe me, LRH Hall changes absolutely nothing. Scientologists don't even use Scientology's properties that are so-called open to the public. The park where the Checkers used to be. Have any of you ever seen a single Scientologist in that park? Nope. I haven't. The gorgeous park next to the Fort Harrison Hotel. It's beautiful. Have you ever seen a single Scientologist in there? No. If the Scientologists won't even use these properties, what do you think the people of Clearwater are going to do?
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.